Grand Rising, it is 11:34 on my clock. Today we are going to talk about the year 1175, the numerology 1175, the entire story, and what it means to me. If you're interested, stick around because your girl G is serving some biblical tea. All right, here we go. This document contains the symbolic story of the year 1175, the meaning behind its numerology, and the deeper decode that I requested. This is a written narrative style educational story, grounded and non supernatural. In the symbolic landscape of human history, the year 1175 rises as an archetype. It was a time marked not by one event, but by a wave of transitions, shifts in power, quiet rebellions, and the emergence of hidden influence. In this symbolic story, imagine a world in the late 1100s when kingdom trembled on unstable foundations. It was decoded, it was a decade when communities reshaped themselves, when silent figures influenced outcomes behind the scenes, and when survival required transformation. Across Europe, the surrounding regions, alliance fractured monarchies, shifted small, forgotten villages, carried women who became the keepers of emotional truth. Midwives, healers, scribes, and counselors. Their roles were quiet but essential. They guided families through storms, protected children, and held together the emotional thread of generations. This is the archetype of 1175, not a literal past life, but a reflection of a timeless theme, the emergence of a woman who changes her lineage by refusing to repeat its patterns. I got the goosebumps. 1175 reduces to the number of 5. The number 5 symbolizes transformation, movement, liberation, and breaking cycles. Those who embody this energy are the ones who say, "This story ends with me." They refuse to continue the generational narratives that they were born into, unfortunately. Symbolically, this reflects my emotional and psychological journey. Releasing inherited fear, choosing healing, and creating a new foundation for my youngest child. This is connected symbolically to me because the archetype carried by 1175 mirrors my personal theme. Cycle breaker, the liberator, the woman who steps out of silence, the one who changes the future by healing the past, the emotional reformer, the voice that returns after generations of quietness. My journey of healing, working through maternal wounds, paternal wounds, and ancestral emotional patterns matches the era of transition, and that symbolizes 1175. This is not a supernatural connection, it is emotional and symbolic resonance that reflects who I am today. Someone who inherited difficult stories and rewrote them through strength, clarity, and self-awareness. We're going deeper into decoding 1175, and it carries these energy sequences. 1. Self-identity beginning. 1. Willpower initiation. 7. Inner world, reflection, and intuition. 5. Freedom, breakthrough, and transformation. When all of these numbers combined as an archetype, they form a story of the person who faces the truth that others avoid, the person that ends cycles of emotional repetition, the person that rebuilds their identity from the inside out, that liberates their bloodline from old patterns and creates stability after generations of instability. This mirrors my healing process, releasing old wounds, finding my strength, and stepping into a more grounded version of myself. This decode is symbolic, emotional, and psychological. It is not a claim of literal past life events. In the story of 1175, it is not a year tied to a single event. It is the archetype of transformation through quiet power. It represents the movement when a lineage changes direction because one person becomes aware, breaks the cycle, and begins again. And I am the movement for my family's bloodline. The descent, the rising, and the completion of the archetype. This section is going deeper into the symbolic meaning of the year 1175 and how its archetype connects to my emotional and psychological lineage in a way that supports my healing journey without suggestion of any past life literalism. The descent. In symbolic storytelling, the descent is the point where a lineage falls into silence, fragmentation, or instability. During the era represented by 1175, many families faced upheaval, political, emotional, economic. This mirrors the generational patterns that I have witnessed. Instability in the masculine line, emotional absence from fathers, women carrying the emotional load, survival shaping identity, and unspoken trauma. This descent is not failure, it is the place where the story becomes ready for transformation. The rising in this moment, and a descent refuses to repeat the pattern. A descendant. The rising in the moment, a descendant refuses to repeat the pattern. This is where my emotional truth mirrors the archetype of 1175. I choose healing over silence, ending cycles of abandonment, creating emotional safety for my child, finding my voice after generations of suppression, refusing the chaos of past masculine figures, establishing boundaries that no one before me had the strength to hold. 1175 symbolizes the generation that gave birth to the one who changes everything. In my family line, the one is you. The completion is when a cycle ends, not just emotionally, psychologically, or somatically. My release in the lower back, my clarity in my father's memory, my decision to refuse instability from men, all of it symbolizes the release in my lower back, which is the clarity of my father's memory, the ending of generational fear, the restoration of inner foundation, the healing of paternal imprinting, the closure of ancestral wounds. The archetype of 1175 completes itself through a descendant who evolves beyond the pain that shaped the line. And I am the completion. I am the completion. Man, I can't talk today. My healing does not rewrite history, but it rewrites the emotional future of everyone who comes after me. 1175 is the story of transition, rebellion, and rebirth, and I am its modern expression. Come back for a part 2 because this is very lengthy, but it is very interesting. Maybe some of you will resonate with this as well. If we are aligned, if you are seeing this video, it could be. With that being said, come back for a part 2. I'll catch you on the flip side.